Why? And the I go and say, I don't got time for the hate. I need more time in my day. I put the ice on my bay, yeah. You riding on me. I get my drip overseas. Niggas are hating on me, yeah.
How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Peace and blessings upon all my Akhis and all my sisters out there. I'm your host, Akhi. To my left,
Professor Nims, the pundit with the PhD in pugilism.
Talk to him. Nice, don't talk to him twice. So this past weekend, we had a lot of great fights, from Shakur, looking like the future pound-for-pound king, to Josh Taylor versus Regrius, to my man Lupin and Robert Easter. I even went to New York, checked out my man and my broski, Khalid Tuwaiti. Shout out to Khalid Tuwaiti, Saddam Ali, and all the champions from Kome that I got to interview. I'm going to post all that on Akhi TV. I changed the name of my channel because I misspelled it. I forgot the H. You know, Akhi has an H in it. I had it Akhi.
I thought during the translation they dropped, so okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so
teach us, preach on.
So I'm not out here just reporting. I'm out here preaching. That being said, I was surrounded this weekend by so many humble champions, from Kome to Saddam Ali, and you know, I appreciate the time and the interviews that they gave me, and I was surrounded by just champions. So on split decision, I'm going to do what a champion does and look for the knockout against Professor Nim. Now, last episode 5, they declared I was the winner. They said, I knocked you out, Professor Nim. How you feel? You recovered?
I'm going to have to go back to the comment. I saw a couple, though. I did, and don't get me wrong. I trust and value everybody's opinion. But I did want to, let me get this out real quick.
He got some smoke. He got some smoke,
and
y'all.
It's not THC, any of y'all out there, narcs or something like that. This is CBD. Oh, yeah. So a lot of athletes using and stuff like that. It helps and stuff. But
you're gonna need to take some of the pain away after I knocked you out with that CBD.
Actually, I just wanted to make sure that
yeah, I mean,
y'all know that
you want some smoke.
I want all the smoke. Goddamn. Smoke dog. I've been smoking since I was 2. Goddamn.
Okay. I got
all
it.
the smoke. Where we at, girl?
Okay, well we gonna get to it today. We got so much to talk about. Like I said, they declared me as the winner. You know Professor Nim better than I do. Man. So let's get to it. Now,
it's all about winning the war and not the battle or whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I done won the battle and the war.
I'll take them body shots, baby. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's why I'm doing 300 sit-ups a day.
Yeah, I hope that CBD help you recover, though. So, talking about the fights that took place last night, Josh Taylor versus Regrius Progress. I mean, that was a hell of a fight, a classic fight, a candidate of that fight of the year. I wouldn't say it surpassed Porter versus Errol Spence, but it was definitely up there. You know what I mean? So it was a great fight. Josh Taylor showed that he could adjust. He could fight in the inside. He could fight mid-range, outside. He showed that he's just like water. He could adapt to anything. When he in the cup, he becomes the cup. When he on the table, he becomes the table. So that being said, Josh Taylor showed a lot. He showed me that, he a better fighter than a lot of people think. As soon as I saw Josh Taylor in the tournament, automatically I knew this dude versus Regrius finna be the final fight, and one of them gonna win. Now, you can't really tell who's gonna win till the fight takes place. Now, obviously, the last tournament that took place was Andre Ward. He was the winner of that. He received the Ali Trophy. We need more tournaments in the sport of boxing because it's like the NFL, the NBA. Yeah. We get a declared winner and the number 1 guy in the division. That being said, how'd you see the fight? Because I had Josh Taylor winning a close fight, but it was a very entertaining fight. But Josh Taylor was just controlling the fight the whole time, in the inside, in the outside. And shout out to Regrius. He's a good dude. He did his best. He fought in his hometown, in Josh Taylor's hometown. He didn't back down from no challenge, and he had a late rally. However, I felt like in the mid-rounds, he just let a lot of them go, but that was credit to Josh Taylor and the way he performed and the way he was throwing short punches in the inside. He was just looking too sweet in there. So how'd you see the fight and who you had winning?
I thought it was a good win for Josh. In there was a modicum of growth that we in. So that's usually what I look for when you get a step up in competition and in each subsequent fight and stuff. So I would not argue that point. I think that deservingly so. Josh showed good ring generalship, controlled most of the fight. He did have to withstand a rally, but usually those are character building things that you want to see young fighters go through.
Yeah, no, Josh Taylor definitely put on a impressive performance, and I say Josh Taylor cracked the top 10 with that type of performance. You know what I'm saying? He definitely a top 10 fighter because I mean a lot of people not giving him the credit he deserved because he beat a live opponent in Regress, and you got to keep in mind if you didn't join the tournament, you didn't want no smoke.
Yeah.
So obviously they didn't fight for all 4 belts, but whoever didn't join the tournament, they didn't want no smoke fighting the best competition because ain't no maneuvering. You're gonna have to fight the best. You're gonna have to fight everybody in order to get to the top. So if you didn't join the tournament, you already automatically took an L. So Josh Taylor, the #1 guy at 140, hopefully he becomes unified, then move up in weight and challenge a Terrence Crawford, and that's a hell of a fight. But Terrence Crawford has something to say about that. Now, Terrence Crawford, he welcomed both Josh Taylor and Regress. He told them both when he was doing the podcast for the Shakur fight, he stated, I welcome both of them fights. I want Josh Taylor and then Regress. They not on my level, basically. So how you see a Terrence Crawford versus Josh Taylor? Because we saw when Postal was looking like a beast at 140, and we saw Terrence Crawford just washed him. He made him look like a nobody. However, Josh Taylor, I believe he a better fighter than a Postal. But at the end of the day, I still see Terrence Crawford edging that fight because Terrence, in my opinion, he pound for pound #1 for a reason, and he's just on a whole nother level than all these other athletes. So I believe Josh Taylor will give him a great fight, though, and I really want to see that fight in the future. So what's your take on that fight in particular? And Josh Taylor, you can make a case for him winning that fight almost, but you know, at the end of the day, he still got to go and win. So how you see that fight?
It is. So I was surprised that you just thought that he would edge him. I think, as I say, 1A and 1B, I'm kind of hedging my bets as far as pound for pound, but I have Terrence up there. He's one of the most impressive fighters, I think, out. The way that he makes his adjustments are barred, you know, they're second to none in this game. So I think that he will put a little hurting on Josh Taylor, and I think possibly could stop him late rounds. One of the things I give Terrence Crawford credit for is he likes to go for the knockout. Bud is like chill, laid back dude, but you get in the ring, he's not satisfied with a decision. That's what I see. I think it's of course it's I like that Josh Taylor is looking for that fight. He's, you know, taking on the toughest challenges. I think with Crawford, I wanna see him do his super fights at this point. I mean, even if it's we know the situation with Errol Spence, but even a Danny Garcia or Sean Porter, I think that Josh Taylor fight is almost a step backwards.
I mean, it's down the line type of fight, but I believe that fight is a harder fight than the Danny Garcia, with all the respect, because Josh Taylor showed that he the best 140-pounder, and he went on the tournament. Obviously, Danny at 140, he beat a Matisse, but at the end of the day, he ducked the Postal fight. Let's not forget, Danny avoided the Postal fight and moved up to 147. And in the process, he fought Lamar Peterson at a catchweight at 143, I believe, and almost lost that fight. I believe at the time, I thought it was a draw or a win for Lamar Peterson. So
yeah.
Taylor, I believe that's not a step backward. I believe that's a great name, and is a pound-for-pound fighter on the top 10. So if Terrence Crawford could beat him and dominate him, it will make him the pound-for-pound king with no question. It won't be no 1A, 1B, how people like to to state it. It will be just 1 and number 2. Number 1, Terrence Crawford. Number 2, anybody in boxing that you want to name.
Well,
now,
with that said, so I got 5 names that I would like to see before that. And to me, that's what I meant by step backwards. So Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Manny Pacquiao.
Well, not too many of them gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like Keith Thurman for sure ain't gonna happen. Porter is a good fight. Danny it could happen, but I just see Terrence dominating these guys. If your name ain't Errol Spence and Porter might give him a good fight, but he will still lose in the process, then I don't see nobody at welterweight really giving Terrence a hard time. Ugas might give him a good fight, but that's about it. Like I said, Taylor, I believe he will give him a good fight. I believe Taylor have the talent and the skill to make it an interesting fight. I'm not saying he gonna win. I'm just saying he gonna make it an interesting fight. God bless you. Now, Vasyl Lomachenko, you stated, he on your pound for pound list. Now, Josh Taylor versus Vasyl Lomachenko. I believe in that fight last night. Josh Taylor showed that he could beat Vasyl Lomachenko, showed that he will take Lomachenko to school. The reason why, if a guy ranked on the number 5 of your division, Luke Campbell, keep in mind, Luke Campbell lost to Linares twice. Luke Campbell, in my opinion, is not even ranked number 5 in that division. But let's say he is. He still gave Lomachenko his toughest fight. And he can't even fight in the inside. And he's not even undefeated. I would like to see Vasyl Lomachenko challenge himself and fight the number 1 guy at 140. Because he fought a guy ranked number 5 at his division, and we saw what kind of a fight that was. It was a very tough fight. So I want to see Vasyl Lomachenko fight the best. And that's a guy like Josh Taylor, the number 1 guy in his division. I mean, he said he wanted to be as great as a Manny Pacquiao. Well, guess what? Manny Pacquiao moved up 8 weight divisions. So if you want to prove yourself and want to be on the list of these greats like Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Money May, then you have to step up to the table and fight a fighter that people are going to think is a 50-50 fight. Because the Luke Campbell was like a 10-1 underdog. You know what I mean? Like, it was automatic win, and he still gave him a good fight. However, against Josh Taylor, I believe that fight is a true 50-50 fight, and I will favor Josh Taylor to beat Lomachenko because he could outbox Lomachenko from the outside and use his reach, and he could outfight Lomachenko in the inside. And the fact that he's the southpaw, Lomachenko can't perform his favorite pivot move where he pivots to the right and be on a safe angle where he could land his straight left, his whatever, and then he could avoid the counters because he had an angle where he could just duck down from counters. That being said, he fighting Josh Taylor just like Luke Campbell. He's a southpaw, and he got a great right hook and a great left hand. And keep in mind, if you do that pivot move that Lomachenko likes to do, his favorite move, you walk straight to that power punch. So we all know he's not going to do it, so he got to fight more traditional. So that being said, Lomachenko can't sell in the States. He stated he want to go back to the UK and fight somebody. And if that's the case, fight the best 140-pound champion and prove that you're the number 1 pound for pound. Because, you're not making that case for yourself right now, especially like on your last performance, especially after becoming the French fries champion for the WBC. So that being said, how you see that fight playing out, who you favor in that fight, and would you like to see that fight, obviously for Vasyl Lomachenko, because he never been an underdog in a fight, I believe, other than probably the Salido fight.
Yeah. So and to me, I still think that was his toughest fight. But to me,
which one?
Salido.
Well, yeah.
Lomachenko
said it was the Luke Campbell, but obviously he must forgot about that
yeah,
Salido loss because ESPN doesn't erase that loss. But keep going.
But I still think that the smart money would be on Vasyl Lomachenko. I still think he's an artist in there. I think that he can be effective with his pivot move. He showed some wrinkles of it against Rigondeaux. Even though Rigondeaux was a lot, Rigondeaux was probably in his 40s, even though he might be listed a little bit younger, and his feet weren't where they used to be at. And particularly his last fight, he was just like he was in cement. But this would be a good challenge for Vasyl Lomachenko, and the fact that he's going up, claiming another weight division. If he can clear out that weight division, that kind of says something. And right now, until we get these super fights, he's gonna have to do some things to captivate the public's attention. He actually could, because of his management, he probably could go to not only the UK but Germany and make a lot of money, similar to what the Klitschko's did at that time when they were ruling.
Vasyl Lomachenko?
Yeah.
And fight who?
Well, I'm just saying, just kind of go on a European tour.
I'm saying he need to go to the UK where he claimed he want to go back and fight Josh Taylor. You mentioned Rigondeaux, but let's be honest. Rigondeaux was inactive for like 3 years, fighting once a year or once in every 2 years. Rigondeaux was a fighter that fights at 122, and fight night, he comes to the fight at 122. Second of all, Rigondeaux had to move up 2 weight divisions. He wanted to fight at 126. Lomachenko said, absolutely not. And then, obviously, he lowballed Rigondeaux, paid him $400K. Bob Arum played Rigondeaux.
Yeah, that was dirty.
And made Rigondeaux move up. Now, like I said, Rigondeaux was 40 years old. Lomachenko was in his prime. We want to see Lomachenko fight a live opponent. We want to see Lomachenko fight a fighter in his prime. Like, I'm tired of Lomachenko fighting these fighters that we automatically know he winning. Like, fight a fighter we feel like is a challenge for you. Like, Josh Taylor is a guy in his prime. Is a guy ranked number 1 in his division. If you claim that you pound for pound number 1, like Lomachenko did recently, because he been saying it's Terrence Crawford, but now he got the gut to say that, right? To each your own. As a fighter, you should feel that way. However, I want to see action. Talk is cheap. You know what I mean? So if you want to, show that your word hold weight, how about move up and fight Josh Taylor, a guy ranked number 1 in his division, in his prime, and fight him and beat him. I don't care if it's a close fight. I don't care what kind of fight it is. I just want to see you able to beat a guy in his prime and a guy ranked number 1 in his division. Name me a fighter that he fought that was ranked number 1 guy in the division and in his prime. Just name me one fighter.
Gary Russell Jr.
Gary Russell wasn't even the champion at the time when he fought him.
It wasn't. It was a vacant belt.
Okay, but he was not a champion.
He was, but I mean, there's a champion, and then there's the number 1 rank.
He was a contender, but he wasn't ranked number 1 in the division. Like I said, Josh Taylor just won the Ali Trophy in the tournament, equivalent when Andre Ward did it. Like, Gary Russell is not the answer, because at the time when he fought him, he haven't fought any champion. He was ducked, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, he was not a champion. He was a contender. And that's the best name you can name me. And you can't find any name closer to that.
Well, I have a question. So if we're considering Vasyl Lomachenko going up to 140, I would like to see that Mikey Garcia fight. Even though I'm not Mikey's fanboy, I do like him. I actually like the whole Garcia, just kind of their boxing philosophy. But to me, I think that's a fight that they both acknowledge should happen at some point. So if he's gonna go up to 140, I'm not trying to hate on Josh Taylor, but if he does do that, wouldn't you want to see Mikey Garcia?
You want the real answer, or you want the BS answer?
No. We speak facts. We speak the truth
and the whole truth. All right. So the real answer, Lomachenko don't want that smoke, because he stated time and time again he not moving up to 140. He ducked the Manny Pacquiao fight when Manny said he going to go down in weight, and that's a 40-year-old version of Manny Pacquiao. That's one thing. He ducked the Salido rematch when Salido just wanted more money, when Salido was already washed up. He done ducked Devin Haney, you know what I'm saying? And now the Mikey Garcia fight, Mikey was pursuing that fight so bad at 135. Lomachenko was coming off an injury. He's saying, I want a tune-up fight. Like, Mikey said, man, I don't got time for that. So he moved up and made a big fight happen. So Mikey open for that. He been open for that. But Lomachenko saying, I'm not moving up to 140. Even though he wanted to be compared to Manny Pacquiao. You want to take it farther than that? He could have fought Terrence Crawford. Everybody always say Terrence is pound for pound number 1, Lomachenko 1B, all of that. At the end of the day, Terrence told him, if you think you pound for pound number 1, come see me at 137. We link up. Guess what Lomachenko said? Absolutely not. And his team, basically
Bob's not
said
gonna
no.
let that happen. He's not gonna let
Bob. Vasyl Lomachenko's team said hell no. So it shows you what they don't believe in their guy. You could say he the greatest since Muhammad Ali, but can you please prove
I don't know who says that.
Bob Arum and
Bob always says that.
And Tony
but
in the UK,
Bob, I'm pretty sure you had a guy named Floyd Mayweather Jr.
He said the same shit about him. But Floyd, you could make the case, but Lomachenko absolutely not. Now
what's today's date?
Today's date?
Yeah,
October 27th.
Okay, because I was trying to figure out, did duck season start already? Or not? Because your boy,
we're going to get to that. I got a list. You talking about Charlo?
I want to talk about your boy Charlo.
Hey, line lines only, line season, whatever you want to call it. He calling the duck season now.
We will just talk, but all right. So we'll get to that because they've been killing you on the on the comments.
Ain't nobody killing me because I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here hunting. I ain't being hunted. You know what I'm saying? Lomachenko, he being hunted right now. And he out here have to go to the WBC to become a French fries champion at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? To avoid the smoke and shit. I'm not. I'm calling out all the smoke. I'm looking for the smoke. It getting too foggy and nobody showing up. So, you know, moving on to the next topic before we get to the topic where I'm finna body Professor Nim. Shakur, the future pound for pound king. The next Mayweather, the next Sugar Ray, the next Sweet Pea. That's what Shakur said. He said, I'm finna be all that. And I believe he made a case for himself last night. Now, it was an interesting statistic that showed up prior to the fight. They showed my man Shakur Stevenson at his age and Floyd Mayweather, Pretty Boy Floyd at his age. Yeah. And they showed, like, them defensively. Floyd, I believe, was, you know, defensively solid. You know, he obviously he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest defensive fighter of all time and one of the greatest fighters of all time, period. Now, Floyd, at his age, I believe the percentage was 22% for his defense. He would get hit only 22% or something like that.
Maybe he's close. So Floyd has the greatest kind of plus minus rate, depending on his
offensively and defensively.
As far as his offensive his rate, his accuracy, and then defense. So his opponents average around 20%, you know, 20 a little bit.
20,
and then he lands close to about 60% against his opponents. So he's plus 40 on there, which is crazy.
Crazy. Now they compared it to Shakur.
Yeah.
Shakur was 13.
That's crazy.
Like, that's crazy. When Floyd Mayweather, the greatest defensive fighter of all time, period. You know, him and Sweet Pea. And this dude, Shakur,
Willie Pep, a lot of people would give him some votes, too.
Yeah. Willie Pep for sure. Rest in peace. May he rest in peace. Now, Shakur, I mean, the man is so sweet with his defense. He get hit 13%. That's unheard of. And keep in mind,
crazy.
You know, he only 13 fights in, and he's already a world champion.
Yeah.
And he already fought a lot of good fighters. And he calling out the Josh Warrington. He already calling out all these fighters. Now, speaking of his performance, I mean, he was outboxing my man Gonzalez. Now, Gonzalez, you know, he was very hesitant. Prior to the fight, he said he going to knock out Shakur. He going to do this. He going to do that. But like I said, talk is cheap. You know, he showed a lot of heart. But my man you know, with all the respect, he done took part of his family. He done took the belt and whipped him with that belt that fight night. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Shakur, after the night, gave him all the credit in the world. So Shakur, man, you know, he looking like the future pound for pound, like I've been telling everybody. As soon as I see him do what he did to Devin Haney in sparring on Dante's Boxing Nation, when he captured that sparring match. I mean, Devin Haney was the #1 guy in the U.S. as an amateur, and Shakur out of nowhere came and, like, schooled him. And everybody was like, whoa, hold on, who this kid? You know, and you just see him progress. And I remember the first time I saw him, I called Dante. I was like, yo, who was that? He told me more about him. And I was like, I told him, I saw Rigondeaux in him. Like, defensively and more so how calm he was. Like, Rigondeaux in his prime. Yeah. I'm not talking about the Rigondeaux that was.
I think he lets his hands go a little bit more.
Obviously, he let his hands go more than Rigondeaux. But I'm saying, you know, when Rigondeaux fought Lomachenko, that shit don't even count because everything was against him. But I'm saying in his prime in the Olympics, Rigondeaux back in the day, he like float on water the way he just moves around and counter you and all that. I saw at 18 years old Shakur Stevenson looking like a 30 version of Rigondeaux. Like, how come he in the ring? Like, he's smiling, making Devin Haney miss. And Devin Haney's like a lightweight, and he out here like a fights at 122 or 126 at the time. So when I saw that, I was like, man, this dude is the future. He the present, the future, and he was the past when he went to the Olympics, and I believe he won the gold medal as well. But I believe his style was more of a pro style than an amateur style. So as a pro, like, yeah, I believe he's 21 right now, but he looked like he a veteran. He looked like he 30 because he's man, the man is in the corner. Gonzalez throws a lot of combinations, and he will step back almost to the at no escape zone and make him miss all them punches, escape the corner, and counter him in the process. Like, that's unheard of, and he wasn't even trying. And I believe he could have stopped Gonzalez. But I believe the family issue they had going on, I believe that you know, if you know about the beef, I believe that Shakur didn't want to do that, do to Gonzalez what he wanted to do to him, like knock him out, because that's finna be his future brother-in-law or something. Because I believe he could have, because every time he threw a punch, he really landed it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It was a dominant win, definitely.
So how'd you see that fight? And you know, is he the future pound for pound king?
I saw everything that I needed to see in that, and I definitely think he is, to me, as far as future pound for pound, I would definitely put him at the top of the list. One thing, you had a good point and say how calm he is under fire, and so he has great defense, but he isn't somebody who necessarily he has good feet, but he doesn't have to use his feet a lot. He has an uncanny ability to be right in front of you and still make you miss, which is very Floyd-esque. And I like that he's sitting down on his punches more. He looks to get people out there, and I agree. I think if he stepped on the gas, he could have got Joe out of there. He dominated. All the judges had it basically 10 rounds.
No,
11
rounds to
11
1.
rounds to 1. Basically, he won by 10 rounds, which is just a dominant against somebody who was an undefeated fighter. This wasn't what I would classify as a tomato can. So I think that it was a great win. It was Shakur taking his next step, and he did it with flying colors. I like the fact that he called out Josh Warrington. He said he wants to be unified after 14 fights, and from his performance in there, I don't see anything that would stop him.
Speaking of Josh Warrington, my man called him out, Shakur, and you know, ESPN pointed out that youngest champions, and some way, somehow, they threw Vasyl Lomachenko's name in there. And I'm like, man, Vasyl Lomachenko was 26, 27 when he won the damn world title. He wasn't no younger. You know what I mean?
I think they're saying young as far as like how many fights you into your career.
They were talking about like young. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you're talking about young, you're talking about the Muhammad Ali's of the world, the Mike Tyson of the world, even a fighter like today, Tank Davis,
or Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather, yeah. Now they did show Floyd,
yeah.
Oscar, you know, Prince Nassim Hamed. All these fighters, they did win titles when they was pretty young, which is more impressive to me than winning a title with less fights. Because we saw Rigondeaux, he did the same thing. He won. He become unified and became a pound for pound fighter with like 9, 10 fights, and he was not hyped. At the time he beat a Donaire who was a pound for pound number 3 fighter in the world, and he just dominated him. Like 11 rounds to 1. That being said, Shakur Stevenson, I believe ESPN, one of the commentators, he kept saying, "Oh, he looked good defensively, but offensively he needed to do more." And they're like, nah, you sound like you biased, because he will praise Shakur, but then he will take a shot at Shakur, like, oh, he's just being good defensively. Nah, you know what time it is. You just mad your man couldn't do nothing about it. And the thing is, you know how he was winning the fight so comfortably, and he beat Gonzalez even in the inside when they was fighting in the inside. I mean, he was right in front of Gonzalez. He was not fighting long range the whole fight. No, he was fighting mid range too, inside too.
Absolutely.
So there is no excuse. If Shakur is landing twice as many punches as Gonzalez, then maybe Gonzalez need to do more. How about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if you're winning 11 rounds to 1, I don't see how you could be any more dominant. So
anyways, now speaking of calling out Josh Warrington, now obviously Frampton already avoided that fight. Oscar Valdez moved up a division and claimed that my man Shakur, he can't make that weight to fight Shakur. However, if he fight at Frampton, he could make the weight. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's the oldest excuse in the book. That excuse is so dusty. I gotta wipe it off before I talk about it. You know what I mean? So we know Oscar Valdez is ducking. Frampton was like, oh, Shakur Stevenson will avoid the fight with, Shakur Stevenson is not ready for all the champions. He's still green. He will lose. And we saw what he did last night. So Frampton himself, he know what time it is. Frampton saw the Devin Haney sparring. I mean, when my man Dante posted that sparring, it got like 1 million views. So I'm pretty sure all the hardcore fighters and I mean all the hardcore fans and the fighters did see that match, and they know what time it is when it comes to Shakur Stevenson. Now, Frampton, he could get a shot because when he first came to the state, remember him getting dropped by the Mexican fighter twice?
Yeah.
And he didn't even fight nobody at the time. And Gonzalez is a better fighter than that dude, and we saw what Shakur did to him. That being said, Josh Warrington, will he step up to the table? And if he does, what kind of warranty does he need in order to take this fight? Because he's going to need a hell of a warranty if he's going to fight Shakur, because Shakur finna tattoo him all night. So how you see that fight? Do you see? I mean, I already know Shakur finna school him and possibly knock him out. But I'm saying, is Josh Warrington going to grow some cojones and fight my man Shakur, or he's going to do what Oscar Valdez and Frampton did and avoid a Shakur? Because Frampton avoided Rigondeaux back in the day, just like he's trying to avoid Shakur Stevenson and Gary Russell today. And that being said, we all know what time it is when it comes to these fighters. I mean, Shakur already in the coincidental list, and he's only 21. And the man is calling out everybody. It's not like he's just calling out. But he said he fight Gary Russell. He said he would fight anybody. However, Josh Warrington said, Shakur, get a belt, and we could unify. So Shakur stated, I want to be unified. I want to be the youngest unified champion with only 14 fights. Is he capable of doing so? Your comments?
Absolutely. I actually think, well, it might be wishful thinking. I actually think that Josh Hampton is going to do the, because one is that Josh is going to want to get the fight over in the UK. Maybe at a stadium. It just really depends on some of the undercard that they can get.
And just to clarify, I'm not sure if his name is Josh Warrington, because I'm possibly getting it mixed up with Josh Taylor.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely.
But it's just Warrington. We all know it's Warrington, but yeah, you can talk about it.
I can verify, but I actually think that he is gonna take the fight at this point. They're not gonna be able to avoid Stevenson for like at a point when he didn't have a belt. That's kind of a built-in excuse that people have. Because they see the defensive skills. He's got the Olympic pedigree. He's got the quick twitch muscles. He's stellar defensively. So they know that they can't avoid him that long. So get him on your terms. Bring him over to the UK. See if your home crowd could get him roused a little bit. But I actually think that we might see that fight sometime in the spring. We'll see.
You know, I hope so, but at the end of the day, it happened to Errol Spence as well. Remember when Keith Thurman was telling him, get a strap, we could unify.
Yeah.
Everybody was telling him that, and when he got a strap, he was still being ducked. So I believe Shakur, the same thing gonna happen to him. Now,
yeah, it is Josh Warrington.
Okay, Josh Warrington. Okay,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure because I don't want to get it mixed up. That being said, Lomachenko became the next French fries champion. I mean, I'm sorry, franchise champion. I believe French fries champions sound better, though. I mean, we see them at McDonald's, you know, everywhere in any fast food.
Yeah.
So that being said, how you feel about that? Devin Haney is his mandatory, and all of a sudden, he became the French fries champion at 135. Keep in mind, for some reason, Canelo Alvarez and Lomachenko, fighters from the Hope list, and as soon as they have mandatories from the coincidental list, they automatically, some way, somehow, became French fries champions the first time in history. And keep in mind, these two fighters in particular never defended a WBC title. Keep in mind, Deontay Wilder, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, they will never vacate a belt to avoid a mandatory. They will fight the mandatory with open arms. I mean, Wilder has been champion and the longest reigning champion since 2014. Deontay Wilder defended his title 9 times. He about to be a super champion because he finna defend his title 10 times. And that's back in the day. In order for you to be a super champion, like for the WBA title, you have to defend your title 10 times. I know that because Prince Nassim Hamed was a super champion after he defended his title 10 times. Then they told him, look, you already proved yourself. You don't have to fight no more mandatories. That's when you become super champion. Okay. But nowadays, like Lomachenko, he becomes French fries champion. All out of nowhere, never defended his title against a mandatory. Like, keep in mind, the only guy he fought that was his mandatory was Corolla. Corolla, some way, somehow, he became his mandatory out of nowhere. Corolla lost twice to Linares. How did he even become his mandatory? That's the real question. But that's the only time he's going to fight a guy is when a guy is really not even on the top 10, but some way, somehow, they pump him up just to be an opponent, and they say, oh, he's mandatory, and that's the only time he fought mandatory. But when it's a real challenger like Devin Haney, a fighter from the Coincidentalist, a green version of a Devin Haney, a guy that Lomachenko claimed, oh, I want my dream fight is to fight Floyd Money Mayweather. That's a Floyd Mayweather prodigy, and you turn down that fight to duck a Devin Haney, to become a French fries champion? Is you serious? And like I said, what's going on with this franchise champion? Because at the end of the day, Lomachenko cannot lose the title. Like, if he move up in weight, move down in weight, if let's say he vacates all the belts, right? And Tank Davis wins all the belts except of the WBC because Devin Haney has it, and he fights Lomachenko. If Tank Davis beat a Lomachenko, he doesn't get the French fries champion belt. However, if Lomachenko beats Tank Davis, he gets all the belts. So what's up with this franchise champion? Is it a way to duck fighters, and is a title that doesn't hold weight because you could win it, but you can't lose it? So what's the purpose of it in the sport of boxing? Back in the day, we had one belt. Now you don't know who the freaking champion is because there's 4 belts, and then there's a 5th belt if you want to count the other belt that don't really count. And there's the interim belts, diamond belts, super belts. So we literally got 10 titles in one weight division, and we have like 20 weight divisions in the sport of boxing. So how many champions do we have? 20 times 10, that's 300. So that's why boxing is not growing, and is a way to avoid fights, the tough fights for these fighters on the hope list. So that being said, what's up with this franchise champion thing? Why Lomachenko got it out of nowhere and not Deontay Wilder, who actually have a WBC belt? Keep in mind, the WBC, and if you win a vacant belt, you have to defend it against 2 mandatories because you want a vacant belt. And that's what Lomachenko did. But some way, somehow, he don't got to defend it. And some way, somehow, he gets a French fries champion belt. And some way, somehow, just like he did back in the day, he get a title shot against Salido without proving himself the second pro. Lose that fight and gets a title shot against my man Gary Russell. So we've seen this time and time again, fighters like Lomachenko from the hopeless, they get benefits like no others. So what's up with this French fries title? Because I'm tired of it, so I want your take on it.
Well, I don't like it. I think it's another example of boxing shooting itself in its foot. We have, at this time, boxing is a pretty healthy sport on the whole.
There's a lot of great fighters.
There are, and there are people who are on the cusp of becoming superstars, but you turn off your hardcore fans and even some casual fans when you have these situations. So this is essentially where the sanctioning body, and this is, I put this on Bob Arum, but where they basically get in bed with a boxer. And then so instead of honoring the process, what they are doing is saying that, okay, we want to still have you be our champion. So instead of mandating that you fight these mandatory fighters, they come up with some kind of title or some super belt, or they elevate their status in a sense where they claim that they're not holding up the division, but we're not getting the fights that we need to see. We're not getting Devin Haney against Lomachenko, and so I don't know. I mean,
so basically, what I get from what you're saying is a way to maneuver. It's a way to duck. Because see, Bob Arum, we could blame it on Bob because obviously he paid the WBC just like Oscar De La Hoya paid the WBC to avoid a Charlo. That's what Bob Arum did. But at the end of the day, we see time and time again Lomachenko bullying Tank Davis in the media, calling him out, calling him the pound for pound on Twitter. But when it comes to Devin Haney called him Lomachenko. I'm at least expecting a response, but I hear no response from Lomachenko. That shows me that Lomachenko himself is fearful of my man Devin Haney, because if he don't give
Devin
it,
or Tank. You said that. You said you think he's. Oh, you think just because of him?
no. I'm saying
doing this mandatory?
Lomachenko. I'm saying Lomachenko is fearful of Devin Haney because if he don't care about Devin Haney and he feel like he could take him at any day, well, go ahead and do that. How about keep your WBC title and win this French fries title? How about do that? How about fight at Devin Haney and be like, okay, I'm gonna fight Devin Haney, my mandatory. I'm gonna keep the WBC and I'm gonna win the French fries title. But like I said, it's a way to maneuver because this man. How is you a two-time world champion and get an opportunity at a vacant title? A vacant title, the two top mandatories supposed to fight for that title. Not a two-time world champion and a mandatory. That don't even make sense. So it was supposed to be Devin Haney versus Luke Campbell to fight for the title. And they kicked Devin Haney out of there. It was actually Devin Haney, I believe, the number one mandatory. They fought Luke Campbell. And Lomachenko, who's not even a mandatory, he's a whole champion, and he fought for that belt. Keep in mind, like I said, if you win a vacant title, you have to defend it twice, at least. He don't have to defend it. They gave him a French fries champion belt. Like I said, it's equivalent when Floyd Money May won a belt against Conor McGregor by the WBC when they gave him the $1 million belt. It's just a title. It's a trophy because you can win it. If you beat a Floyd today, you're not going to get this money belt because it's not a belt. It's basically a trophy. So state as that. You're not a champion because if you can win it but you can't lose it, then what's the point? That being said, my man Terrence Crawford, he came on and stated there's no such thing as a as a franchise champion.
Yeah.
He said there's only a regular champion that holds a belt. He don't care about no interim belts. There's no such thing as super belts, diamond belts, whatever.
All of that.
There's only the real belts and one champion, and that's how the sport should be. One champion, one name, one in the sport of boxing. And I definitely co-sign that 100%. That's what Deontay Wilder's pushing for, and that's what Terrence Crawford pushing for. Now imagine Terrence and Deontay Wilder getting this French fries belt to avoid a mandatory. You know what kind of backlash they're going to get, especially if their mandatory now is somebody tough, but they was willing to fight their mandatories every time they got a chance to. And as soon as it's somebody tough, you vacate the belt like Lomachenko did and like Canelo did. It exposes them. It shows the WBC is biased. It shows they got an agenda. It shows that boxing is politically corrupt and they try to create more belts so fighters could maneuver, so they could duck like Lomachenko, so they could keep the image of him being Matrix. He ain't no Matrix. We saw that against Luke Campbell. So that being said, what you think about what Terrence said about the title? Because at the end of the day, Terrence been an undisputed champion. Now Lomachenko, he claimed he want to be undisputed. He could no longer be undisputed because he didn't give up the belt. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Deontay Wilder been champion since 2014. He never got this title. And if he does get the title, he won't even accept the title because he ain't going to give up his belt that he worked hard for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's about to be a super champion if he beat Ortiz the second time. So what you think about what Terrence said and about...
No, I mean, that's one of Terrence's stablemates, but he's
Who?
Lomachenko, in the sense that they're under the same promotion.
And Lomachenko ducked Terrence Crawford too.
But real recognized real, and he knows that with Terrence, he's got a lot of. He's a young guy, fairly young guy, but he's got a lot of old school ways about him. And the boxing purists look at these type of politics that seep their way into boxing, and it's something that you don't want to see. So even though Bob Arum is his boy, he's still gonna call BS when he sees it. I even saw Tank and Broner. You know, they had a good laugh about this franchise championship. Well, basically they just kind of like laughed at just laughed about and did even and basically they did point to some preferential treatment, I guess you can say, that Lomo might be receiving.
And like I said, Lomachenko then avoided a Salido rematch. Didn't want to pay Salido the money he deserved, even though that's the guy that beat him. He turned down a Manny Pacquiao fight. It make you look bad when you turn down a Manny Pacquiao. And Manny's this guy that everybody's chasing, and you the only one out of the bunch that's gonna turn down a 40 grandpa version of Manny Pacquiao fight. You know what I mean?
Was this about injury or anything?
Hell no. He just said, nah, Manny too old. I don't want to make my legacy off of him.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And like some BS.
I think that would be a really good fight.
Yeah, like Manny beat him. Manny beat him.
Yeah.
At this time, Manny beats him.
Me that 140 is
Manny was willing to go to 135. He stated. Like, come on, man. That's a bad look. Like, you out here and ducking the Devin Haney fight. Like I said, he said he wanted to be as great as a Manny Pacquiao. He ducked Manny Pacquiao. He said he wanted a dream fight with Floyd Money Mayweather. He avoided the prodigy of a green version of a Floyd Money Mayweather. Lomachenko, we don't believe you. You need more people. We don't believe you. Your dream fight is with Lomachenko, because if it is, then you would have fought at least Devin Haney and showed us what you're going to do to Floyd. Man, so you out here capping. You a whole cap. Look, you see what I got? This ain't a cap. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no cap in my game. Hey, what my man over there, what my man, well, Professor Nim, he got a cap over there. I hope he ain't capping though. But you need more people, because we don't believe you. You need to start wearing a cap. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, ain't no cap in my rap. I preach. I don't even rap. That being said.
So just real quick to close this out. So right now, if they made the fight, Devin Haney against Lomachenko, who would you favor in that bout?
If it was prior to this, I would have picked Lomachenko in a close fight.
Okay.
But now, I don't believe in Lomachenko, because he avoiding this fight for a reason. Like, how am I supposed to like believe in him when he out here avoiding the fight? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even. It's like this. He struggled.
There's some method behind.
Look, he avoided Devin Haney fight. He avoided all these fighters I just pointed out. Hold on. Don't ash it out. Keep smoking. I'm about to take a hit. You know what I'm saying? But keep in mind, my man, what's his name? Lil Campbell, right? Mm-hmm. He gave him a good fight. Lil Campbell can't even fight in the inside. He ain't the talent of Devin Haney. So if he did that well against Lomachenko, I feel Devin Haney probably could beat him, and that's why he don't want to fight Devin Haney. Or he feel that he's going to expose them. One of the two. But on to the next topic.
Unlike Lomachenko, we want all the smoke.
On to the next topic. By the way, this
piece
is
of CBD.
This ain't, you know what I'm saying? We out here just because. Obviously, I got to take a hit because I'm finna smoke, Professor Nim. Best believe that.
Well,
So
I was thinking, man, I was, they call me the pundit with the PhD in pugilism, but somebody was like, man, you need to change your name. Professor Nim, don't nobody what you talking about. So I'm like, should I be the body snatcher?
Nah,
I think, or should I be the Grim Reaper?
I think you should be, because Professor Nim, the reason they say that, they saying you getting taken to the Akhi University, you should change it to Student Nim. Because you out here being my student on the show. But hold on.
I'm gonna be the Grim Reaper out here. I'm out here collecting bodies, baby.
We're finna go into your topic. Obviously, my man, Charlo.
Rabbit season.
Duck
season.
You know what I'm saying? Smoke season.
Duck season out here.
Yo, my man saying duck season. I brought a whole line because I'm finna talk about what the line got going on.
You got all on Canelo.
Because listen. I took you to my
really
university school. You know that, man. You better start capping.
So what's your boy reason for going ahead and starting duck season early? Man, I thought it was rabbit season. Or lions only. What is it? Lions only. Lion King, whatever.
Simba out here and shit. So yeah, put some respect on Simba name. But so Charlo, he came out on an interview with the Boxing Voice. Shout out to the Boxing Voice. And he was like, I don't know about Andrade, because Andrade, he's not a big fight. He's not willing to do a one fight with DAZN only if it's a big fight. Basically, for a Gennady Golovkin fight or a Canelo fight. Yeah, but basically he's saying the Andrade fight is not a big fight. Now, credit to the Boxing Voice, for being a realist and telling him, well, at the end of the day, Andrade got a belt. So that's a big fight. So why can't you do a one fight contract with them? Then he stated basically like, nah, he not the big name. Now, my thing is this.
Duck season.
My thing is this. Do you believe, like I said, I took him to the Akhi University last show. Everybody declared on episode 5 I won the debate, right?
Out.
That being said, my man dropped out. He like, man, fuck this shit. I gotta surrender. You know what I mean? He threw the white flag on me. You know what I mean? You even wiped your nose because you were bleeding too much. You know that. So, that being said, do you agree that Canelo is ducking Charlo and Andrade?
Charlo and
you say is Charlo ducking Andrade for this move?
Charlo he's absolutely ducking. This is the definition of a duck.
If that's the case,
somebody who has a title.
If that's the case, is Canelo ducking Charlo and Andrade?
It's different. Like
hold on, see, you
one
contradicting yourself.
So
I'm just saying. See, I keep it real. They said I ain't gonna talk about this topic. Look, hold on.
I thought I was gonna answer.
Oh, hold on. You contradicting yourself. You don't even get a chance to speak right now. I gotta clarify this because everybody in the comment section, as soon as this video dropped, they came to my channel talking about, oh, Akhi, you ain't gonna talk about this. You're going to avoid this topic, this and that. I'm over here talking about it, right? I'm over here talking about it. We finna talk about it.
It's called circular reasoning. That's you're trying to.
Hey, Professor Nim, you going to get this work. So I'll ask you a question. Is Andrade and Charlo getting
You asked me if Charlo was. So one thing I always
and
said.
You said no.
And I said everybody. I said everybody avoids Andrade. He's just a bad matchup. But at the time, when you can go and make history, which Canelo has an opportunity to do, and it's a big fight, you're not gonna. I said he's gonna let everybody else fight Andrade. Let all of this dust settle. You the cash cow.
Canelo been ducking Andrade and Charlo for 5 years now. He
was never in Charlo's weight division.
He was at 154.
Not at the same time. Not at the same time.
Yo, man, guys, Professor Nim done got knocked out so bad the last show he don't even remember.
When was the last time that
hold on.
that Canelo fought at 154?
Andrade, Canelo, and Charlo fought at 154 around the same time. As soon as Canelo moved up in weight, Charlo and Andrade moved up in weight. Canelo was a champion. Floyd Mayweather took him to school, right? Then he didn't hold a title. Andrade held the
I don't even think they were even pro then when he fought Mayweather.
I'm telling you facts. Andrade was the WBO champion. And Charlo won the IBF belt from somebody, right? And then he fought J. Rock Williams and all that. But prior to that, Canelo turned down a fight with Jamal Charlo. Not Jamal Charlo, Jamal Charlo. And because of that, Charlo left Golden Boy because they basically promised him a fight with Canelo, and they didn't oblige. So he was like, you know what? I got to dip because y'all didn't keep y'all word.
That's fact.
That's a fact. He ducked Jamal Charlo. He also ducked Jamal Charlo till this day because like Riddick Bowe, when he vacated the belt and threw it to the trash to duck a Lennox Lewis, Canelo did the same thing to Jamal Charlo when he was his mandatory to become the champion. We just talked about that with Lomachenko and Canelo prior to this topic in this segment. That being said, he ducked the Andrade fight too because when Andrade was the WBO champion, he avoided that fight. He acted like Andrade was never there. Keep in mind, Andrade was calling him a bitch while he was a champion. Andrade was a champion. Canelo was not a champion at the time. They fought at the same division. Andrade called him a bitch. He said, you don't got no cojones, all that, right? As soon as Andrade get stripped of the title because he had a problem with his promoter and the Smith won the title, guess what happened? Canelo Alvarez fight Smith. This ain't a coincidence. Canelo maneuvering and being strategic like a motherfucker. Like, we know what time
Charlo,
it is.
The Charlo. So
okay,
one thing is that
the question.
Everybody,
if you want me to be honest, this is called split decision.
You asked me, is he ducking him? Right.
You then got caught contradicting yourself, saying that Charlo ducking Andrade, but you said that Canelo, who been ducking Andrade and Charlo for the past 5 years, you said that he not ducking him. What? It don't even make. Okay, if we're going by your logic, hold on. If you're going by your logic, then okay. If you're going by your logic, what Charlo basically is saying is, okay, Andrade could have fought my brother at 154. He didn't want to fight him because he didn't want to come to Showtime because he felt like he was going to get robbed and he wasn't getting paid enough money. So I'm not trying to go to DAZN for Andrade, who is a tough fight, but it's not a big name fight, and fight him
Oh,
there.
so now it's not a big name
No,
fight.
no, but I'm saying
But
if we
you
going,
want-
this is your logic. I'm going by your logic. I'm not going by my logic. This is your logic. This is Professor
No,
Nim speaking.
I've
If you
said
try-
nothing
hold on.
about Charlo
No,
in
hold
that
on.
regard.
I'm saying I'm speaking by your logic, how you stating that. So you saying Charlo, he could say basically, oh, if I go to and fight Andrade, and I'm going to the zone when I'm the bigger name. Charlo he been the main event for the past 3 fights, and he been fighting nobody according to you, right?
Who?
So Charlo. So he been fighting unknown fighters.
At,
Hold on.
at 160, he's fought nobody.
That's what I'm saying, and he been the main event. So that's how much
So
of a
he
star
can fight
he is.
And
And he
then
been
he
drawing-
might, and then,
Look,
and then he
listen.
might
And
earn
he-
a
listen.
fight with Canelo.
Listen, he been the main event, fighting nobodies according to you, and he been drawing million views on Showtime and on Fox now or whatever. So if Charlo is capable of doing that on Showtime, so he's the biggest star than Andrade. We all know that Charlo is bigger star than Andrade. So why would Charlo? He's saying, why would I go to the zone to fight Andrade, a guy not bigger than me? If he wants to fight me, come to my show. If I have to fight Canelo because he's a bigger star than me, I'm gonna go fight him on his network because he's bigger star than me. But if I'm bigger than Andrade, why do I gotta go to the zone? Why don't Andrade come to me? Charlo could make that case, so you could say he's not a duck. But I'm saying this is by your logic. You see, Canelo,
You must represent Charlo. What?
Look, it's lines.
Are you
but I ain't being biased and shit.
Are you his lawyer?
Huh?
You got some.
Man, Canelo calling your phone, man. Pick up real quick to receive that
All right.
check. But hey, I'm out here burning his check.
No, it's
Stop playing.
It's duck season. I thought it was rabbit season for the Lions.
You contradicted yourself.
Well, all right. So what I'm saying is that Charlo does not hold the cards like Canelo. He doesn't. He needs one quality win at 160.
J. Rock Williams. He
At 150, I'm talking about that. We talking about middleweights right now. So that victory looks good now, but he hasn't fought one name. So this is why you fight
the big
Andrade.
name's ducking
Andrade
him.
Andrade is not. Andrade has a belt. This will be a unification bout, and this would easily be, if not your toughest competition ever, easily your toughest competition at 160.
So you saying he ducking?
Yeah, he ducking him.
So, but Canelo's not.
Canelo is about to go history.
He been ducking for the past 5 years. Make history versus the fighter that was one
What
punch.
have they done to really earn a fight with Canelo?
You keep saying.
What have they done to earn a fight with Canelo?
What have J. Rock Fielding done to earn a fight with Canelo?
He was 168. He was somebody that didn't pose a challenge, and it was just a.
He got knocked out prior to that.
It was a showcase
He got
fight.
knocked out in the first round.
It was
prior
a
to that.
showcase fight.
So okay, make a showcase out of Charlo if he's so sweet.
Listen, so
hold on.
The risk versus the
Hold on.
reward. He can make that
ducking.
determination.
You basically saying he ducking in a nice way. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's
Hold on. First of all, you keep saying he making history with Kovalev. He been ducking Andrade and Charlo for the past 5 years. Let's move on from that. Forget all of that. Kovalev was punched away removed from retirement versus a guy that only have 12 amateur fights and 18 pro bouts and never fought a top level fighter, right?
Yeah.
And that was his last fight. Kovalev stated, if this dude beats me, I'm retiring. That dude was a
smart
punch away.
decision.
That was a 1 punch away from knocking him out, or 2 punches away if he landed good, right?
Yeah.
So you talking about he over here making history, fighting a dude on the way out the door? Kovalev, this is not the crusher Kovalev. This is Canelo finna be the crusher. If he fighting Beterbiev, I'll be like, okay, at least it's a better matchup. But he fighting a washed up version of Kovalev. Let's all be honest here. And like I said, he avoiding these guys. He ducked Charlo like Riddick Bowe ducked Lennox Lewis. Vacated the belt. Andrade been ducking him since 154. Out of your own mouth, you say he ducked Jamel Charlo. Now, he done ducked 3 people. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Charlo called out Canelo Alvarez, called out Gennady Golovkin, called out Jacob. Keep in mind, these are the big names at the middleweight division, right? You saying he need a big win.
Jacobs.
Hold on. You said he need a big win, right?
He does. He
How about
needs
if the big
somebody-
names are ducking him?
He can
How
fight.
about if the big
He can
names
fight
are ducking him?
Andrade and Danny Jacobs. Like I
How
don't see
about
those
if the
phones.
big names are ducking him?
No, he's going after these stars when he hasn't done anything yet. Of course, he
is a star too.
They just like
He's
to make
a star that got skill that will knock these stars out. So these stars don't want to fight him. He's a star too.
Canelo fought
how much,
Jacobs. They saw on the blogs that Canelo easily had the best resume of any middleweight out there. Well, not the blogs, but on the comments. Canelo easily had the best of any middleweight out now. Canelo easily has the best resume. He can't fight everybody.
Who did he fight other than
Jacobs, Triple G?
That's it.
Cotto, Trout.
First of all, Trout's not middleweight. What are you talking about?
What I'm just saying is,
first of all, if you're gonna go, we went through his record and the big fights. Every time he stepped up, unlike Terrence Crawford, unlike Floyd, he always struggled versus the best. The fights almost split decision, and the judges on his side scoring every round for him. So he's in close fights. Even people thought Gennady Golovkin was a draw. Matter of fact, it was a draw the first time.
I thought he lost the first fight.
So
I thought he lost the first fight.
That's it right there. So I'm saying you keep saying Charlo this, Charlo that. He's a star too. But I'm saying
fight somebody that we know at middleweight.
I'm saying I want the Andre fight to happen. But by your own logic, if you saying this and that, then Andre need to come to Showtime because Charlo is the biggest star. Who is the biggest star, Charlo or Andre?
Charlo.
Okay,
Charlo
so why is the biggest star need to go to
one thing is like they haven't even got to the negotiation. They're just like say that you want to fight and then find some way to make it happen.
No.
All these like what these called specious barriers are just these excuses
First
that you
of all,
put in the way.
that's not an excuse. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to clarify here. Charlo, he stated, I'm willing to fight the big names, Canelo, Gennady Golovkin, Danny Jacob, and do one fight with DAZN. However, with Andrade, he didn't say I'm not trying to fight Andrade. He basically saying I'm not willing to go to DAZN to fight an Andrade. Say he willing to fight an Andrade on Showtime. So if that's the case, I'm saying since you out of your own mouth, you said he the bigger guy, right?
He's a bigger draw.
So just like Tank Davis and Tevin Farmer, remember? Tevin Farmer got offered $2 million to fight Tank Davis. And we all know Tank Davis is the biggest star, baby. So what Tevin Farmer do and Eddie Hearn? They said absolutely not. They want the big star, Tank Davis, to come to DAZN. Why? Because Tevin Farmer is signed to DAZN. He can't leave DAZN. Andrade is signed to DAZN. So he can't leave DAZN. So Charlo is saying I'm not willing to go to DAZN and fight him because he's the biggest star.
Why don't you just get into this? Why don't you just what I'm saying? Like,
so how come Tank Davis doesn't fight Tevin Farmer at DAZN?
I think they should fight.
I know they should fight, but it's not his fault. It's Tevin Farmer's fault for not taking the $2 million, the biggest purse of his life, not to fight Tank Davis and stay with DAZN and believe in Eddie Hearn. Now Tevin Farmer got nobody to fight. When he could have had a mega fight and it was in his hands.
Sometimes it's just as easy as saying, I want to fight this guy. And then people can usually work it out.
He already said that. He already said I wanted to fight him. He just said he not willing to do a one fight with DAZN and fight Andrade because he the biggest star basically. And why would he do that? He only willing to do that versus a Gennady Golovkin and a Charlo and a Canelo Alvarez. You get what I'm saying?
What I'm saying, if he wants to fight these guys over there at the zone, fight you somebody who has a belt, make a name for yourself, and then you're going to get a little more leverage in the negotiations at that point.
Well, he about to fight Benavidez. He ain't going to get all the leverage in the world. He said he willing to fight Benavidez at 168. So Charlo ain't ducking no smoke. All I'm saying is it's still lion season. It's still smoke season. It's still strap season. He's just making
duck season.
It's a smart decision for Canelo Alvarez. It's duck season. We all know that. It's been duck season for the past 5 years. That being said, since I smoked you, take a hit of that raw real quick. You know what I'm saying? No homo. That's what he's smoking on. Now, next topic at hand. Terrence Crawford talking about retirement. Already after the WWE, he out here talking about, man, it's more dangerous than boxing. He turned down the rematch with Wilder the first time. Now he trying to push back the rematch. Tyson Fury. And now he talking about, man, in few fights he finna retire And I don't even know if he finna fight Deontay Wilder. You could retire. Just let me see you fight Wilder. That's the main thing. As long as you fight Wilder, do whatever the freak you want to do. You know what I mean? But what's up? What you think about that? Because he out here, look, his past 4 fights has been preparation for Deontay Wilder. He fought nobodies. And I mean, literally, guys are not even ranked on the top 20, top 50 almost. So you fighting guys like that to build your profile. How about fight name fighters and fighters that's actually ranked to build your profile? So, yeah, you smoking out there, but he is avoiding all the smoke. So what you think about that and with his statement in general?
I think with Tyson Fury, part of it is he's a natural troll, but I'm not trying to do a psychoanalysis from far, but he exhibits some bipolarism. That's part of it. So sometimes he just likes to say things to get people's attention. Hey, I'm thinking about retiring. I'm doing this.
That's a negative. That's a negative because I could see what you're coming from, but he if he fought Wilder the second time without running to ESPN, I believe that. But he really mean these things. Look at who he been fighting. He been fighting unranked fighters. He had opportunities to fight.
Listen, I'm not defending his record of the fighters he's had, of the fights that he's had since Wilder. Even though I think he beat Wilder, there is something in him that is making him drag this fight along.
I mean, remember that flashback? He probably like, man, what if I didn't wake up from that coma I got put in? Because he really got put in a coma for 4 seconds. But what if it lasted longer than not 10 seconds? He don't care if it lasted longer than 10 seconds. He care if it lasts longer than freaking a day, a month. He could put his life in risk.
He showed some kahunas because at the end of that round, he was putting a whooping on. So for somebody
he showed some
to
cojones to get up, but he showed cojones to fight him again.
He needs it. I don't know. I'm not defending Tyson Fury. I have nothing to defend him on that. No, I just said I think that mentally he's got some mental health issues.
So he's saying he's doing them drugs again now?
Well, not that. It's just
let me tell you
something.
Listen. Ain't no disease. The disease is that Deontay Wilder right hand. Let me tell you something. So
I remember that jab. He was.
Look, I remember him not throwing enough punches too in the early rounds and almost getting knocked out in the later rounds. But my point is this. Tyson Fury, he claimed he has this mental thing going on and he addicted to drugs and this and that, right? But after he beat Klitschko, he got tested positive for steroids. And guess what happened? He claimed that he depressed this and that and retired and then made a comeback, right? Out of nowhere, his favorite homeboy, his buddy like this, his broski, Sandras, got tested positive for steroids that help you lose weight and leaves your body in 24 hours. And guess what? His other man, Dillian White is a guy who got caught with steroids and still was allowed to fight. So Tyson Fury gets away with using steroids against Klitschko and come back and blames it on this bullshit drugs addiction, right? Yeah. And ESPN never brought it up. I never see ESPN brought it up and asked Tyson Fury, oh, what happened with the drug test thing? Every time Floyd Money Mayweather is on ESPN, though, guess what they ask him about? What's up with you and why you went to jail? Even though he was proven innocent. You're not guilty till you are proven guilty in the courtroom, right? Floyd Mayweather was proven innocent.
I think he pleaded guilty, though. Didn't he take a plea?
I thought he did his time.
He did his time, yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, let's all be honest. At the end of the day, it wasn't that big of a case, and they blew out of proportion because he's money made, and they got money out of him. It is what it is. He served his time, but I thought Floyd Mayweather stated he was proven innocent. So if that's the case, because there was no evidence against him, they always bring it up.
His children testified against his son.
He was proven innocent. If his children testify against him, he would not be proven innocent because they are witnesses.
I don't remember. I remember him going to jail for something.
I'm telling you, Canelo Alvarez. Not Canelo. I remember I told you Floyd Mayweather was on ESPN and stated he was innocent. He was proven innocent in that court case. So I'm saying they always bring it up every chance, putting a bad light on him. However, a guy who tested positive for PEDs. Imagine Floyd Money Mayweather getting tested positive for PEDs. Wouldn't you think they're gonna bring it up on every interview?
No, I mean they would try to reevaluate and reassess his.
They
whole
will
career.
try to break him down. I don't care what. I promise you, if Floyd Mayweather built an empire of 2,000 floors, they will bring it down in a heartbeat. Tyson Fury built an empire of 10 floors, and they out here trying to, with steroids, you know what I'm saying, while he was building them bricks up and stuff, putting them together. And guess what happened? They try to cover up. That's the difference. When Floyd Mayweather ain't do the damn thing, they trying to put a bad lightning on him. When it's Tyson Fury, they try to cover up. Tyson Fury out here fighting bums, and I mean literally. And Mike Kellerman never asked him, oh, why are you out here maneuvering, ducking the best? However, when Floyd Money Mayweather, a guy who did fight the best and never ducked any smoke, he was with the smoke all the time. He talking about Floyd Mayweather was very strategic, ducking the best fights, and he, trying to take shots and credit away from Floyd. He even said Manny Pacquiao is still the better fighter than Floyd. Like,
that's bull.
bullshit.
That's
Come on now. Like, we all know what time it is. So moving on to the next topic now. My man, Errol, the truth spins. The man with the smoke. It's smoke season, strap season. He came out with all of that, right? You might need him some of the CBD to cover and stuff like that. But Sean Porter came out in an interview and he stated that he basically said that Errol Spence might be in critical condition because
I'm
he
a
said
confused. I thought he was released from the hospital.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He said that fact that Errol Spence never released any photos, the fact that Errol Spence, they said that he lost all his teeth. So they said if he really doing that well, I think they should be releasing something top of, like Errol Spence should have spoke to the public or came out with a statement or something. It don't sound like Errol Spence is doing too well.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, I believe Sean Porter have a case, and I hope that's not the case. Inshallah, he comes out 100% healthy and stronger than ever at the end of the day. But I mean, it do make sense because I did hear that he lost his teeth on multiple occasions. I heard he fell on his face. So some way, somehow, you gonna suffer something. I mean,
part of that is like you're losing your teeth and that your jaw foundation,
and that's where you get hit.
You're just gonna look a lot different. So it's like
Errol Spence was in the Ferrari flipping. He was looking like a socks in a dryer. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So like, how you feel about Errol Spence? Can he even fight in a year from now if it's a critical condition? Because I don't know. I mean, I just feel like Sean made a lot of sense. Like,
I mean, he did. I think critical condition is a little hyperbole. I would say I do think that we don't know the extent of his injuries, and I do think that they are an issue that he's going to have to deal with, particularly cuts to the face. You brought up a good point. In boxing, in the ring, there's scar tissue that develops when you get hit and cut, and so he might be dealing with a lot of scar tissue around his face. They claim that he just only dealt with lacerations and no broken bones, but he also might be going through some things personally or kind of mentally. We don't know what drove him to this point. From what I read, he was charged with a DUI, so I don't know if they checked his blood alcohol content after that.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay though. I mean, like that's something he could deal with, and all you got to do is take a class and he be good with that. But I'm saying, I care about his health and taking punches. Like, is he gonna come? Because he got one of the best chins in the world. He physically strong. Like, is he gonna come back the same? That's the real question. You know what I mean? Like, I hope, because he still have the Terrence Crawford fight. That's gonna that's his Pacquiao version. But but that's Terrence. Like, he got so many fights like Lubin, Pacquiao, Danny Garcia, J. Rock Williams.
Yeah.
Like I said, Lubin earlier.
Even Keith Thurman,
Canelo Alvarez,
Keith Thurman. I would still like to see that.
Terrence Crawford, the main fight. That's like
absolutely.
The fight of the decade. But he haven't fought that fight, and
that's
I believe
our version of Leonard Hearns.
Yeah, Leonard Hearns for sure. Now, I hope it don't affect him. I hope he come back safe. Still praying for him to this day, and I just hope he come back the same, because we need him in the sport of boxing. Now, that being said, it's a lot of big things been going on this week, man. Manny Pacquiao trainer Freddie Roach came out. He stated that Manny Pacquiao wanted to challenge himself against Errol Spence and my man Danny Garcia, but he claimed that Mikey is not a likable opponent because he got the biggest ass whooping of his life. He restated everything I've been saying. He's saying he don't think that fight will sell. Co-signing what I'm saying. His own trainer. What's up, Professor Nim? But anyways, he said that about Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. But ironically enough, as soon as I reported on it, happy as hell, I'm like, man, I hope Manny, he thinks Errol Spence coming off an injury, you know, or an accident, he gonna
Vultures is coming out.
Yeah, you know, like, you know, Manny felt like he probably could take him out and stuff like that. So I'm over here thinking that way, but all of a sudden I heard the news of the WBC saying the fight between Danny Garcia and Errol Spence will be next. They didn't state when. Okay. But they did state that it's gonna happen next.
Like they had.
So it's like, next. Come on, Freddie. Like, come on, Manny. Like, which one is it? Is it?
So part of it is so this is how you use the media and journalists like yourself to negotiate in the media when they say that. So what you do is say that, oh, we're looking for the biggest challenges. We want Errol Spence. We want Danny Garcia. But then when you end up just taking one of those fights like with a lesser opponent like a Mikey Garcia. What you do is, oh, man, you saw me. I tried to get that fight. Like, it's on tape. We said we want the challenges, but they have to fight. So then that's how you maneuver in the media and make it seem like you might not avoiding the bigger challenges because you put it out there. So it's on record. It's stated now that you wanted this challenge. But then when you go and take this other fight, you say that, oh, we were trying to fight him.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
I'm not mad.
Manny Pacquiao's a legend. I think he deserves. I don't think he has to do any maneuvering. Look, he should be able to fight who he wants to fight.
He can fight whoever, but he can't keep that belt hostage when you're looking for undisputed. But listen, Manny been doing this even in his prime. That's how he was able to fight fighters coming off losses, like Shakur Mosley, like Margarito, like fighters that's getting knocked out in some way, somehow. That next fight is the biggest fight of their life against Manny Pacquiao. He uses the media to manipulate the media and state that he want to fight these dangerous opponents and then picks the weakest link. Like Canelo Alvarez does today. He took good notes from Manny Pacquiao. That's why Canelo took over the heritage of being the best fighter that fights catchweights at catchweight. He made his own weight, Canelo weight, 155. Manny was known for catchweights. So Manny been doing this. He will say he will fight this guy. He want to fight. Like, you would hear all these great names. Like, I'm talking about when Broner was undefeated. Everybody thought he was Floyd and shit. You know, Broner's name would get thrown out there. All these names, like big names, would get thrown out there. Like Timothy Bradley. When Timothy Bradley was undefeated, I don't even believe he fought Timothy Bradley yet. This and that. And then he fought a Marquez 3. Or like he fought a Margarito, like I said. A guy who just got knocked out by Shakur Mosley. So Manny been manipulating the media. But I'm saying, like, you know, we take this for real. Like, you know, if you're going to fight Errol, then state that. I'm still going to promote the fight the same. You know what I mean? Yeah. But they claim Manny is the clout, and he is. However, he uses other clout to make his clout bigger. Yeah. He uses the Errol Spence name because he knows Errol Spence that name the most Floyd relevant.
Him and Bob Arum used Floyd name a lot. They would
strategically they use Floyd Mayweather name throughout their career. That's why Manny Pacquiao name will always be attached with the Floyd Money Mayweather. You know what I mean? Like, it don't matter. Like, if as soon as you say Pacquiao, you're gonna say it's Floyd, and that's why Manny's trying to fight and fight these guys that's still young to prove that he's a good fighter because he lost that fight. As soon as you say Pacquiao, people remember Floyd. Oh, he lost to Floyd though. Man, I got fooled that night. I paid $100, and this dude, all he complained about is that Floyd Mayweather was running. Like, ain't you? That's what you prepared for. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you out here claiming that you out here schooling me and shit. But it's the Pactars that agree with you. Now, do you agree that Pacquiao beat Floyd that night?
But this is a whole new argument that you interjected.
Hold on.
I don't think anybody who
these the people that agree with you.
Well, listen, we were talking about Manny being strategic and the clout that he holds and him being a legend. I'm gonna give him those props. Even though
he's a legend.
He's done some catchweight things. He's doing that, but at his height, he was really somebody who we could rally around when it came to the sport of boxing. He was a superstar when we needed when Floyd was kind of in and out of retirement. He was good for the sport.
Everybody needed a dance partner. Floyd Mayweather
Exactly.
needed Pacquiao, like Ali needed Frazier, like Ali needed George Foreman, like Sugar Ray needed both.
Lennox Lewis, Tyson, right?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Everybody needed a dancing partner. I love Pacquiao. I love his style, but I'm just saying, I love all the fighters. I respect all the fighters. You need to have two cojones and two balls in order to get to the ring, because it's not any other sport where all you need is one ball. So I respect every fighter, but I'm talking about speaking politically, from political standpoint. That's what people don't understand when we on split decision. I'm not talking about the fight. Like, I respect everybody that get in the ring. Matter of fact, Manny Pacquiao, one of my favorite fighters of all time. But I tell the whole truth. I'm not finna lie to cover up for a fighter that I like and discredit another fighter that I like Floyd Mayweather. I respect both. You know, maybe I even respect Manny more so than Floyd. Like, Manny got a whole country behind him. Like, he feeds his people, all that. Like, Floyd Mayweather, maybe he ain't the best example outside of the ring, but I'm still giving him his credit and the credit he deserved, that he earned inside the ring. Because, like I said, the key word is earned, because he earned that credit inside the ring. So I'm not going to discredit. Like, people die in the ring, like Patrick Day and all these guys, because they put their life on the line to do something they love. So I'm not finna discredit something Floyd Mayweather earned, that he risked his life, and me just being on the mic discredit him. Like, I'm not finna do that for fans that don't even care about me. And even if they do care about me, I still don't give a damn. They could hate on my drip all they want. Guess what? I'm still gonna get dripped up. But I appreciate it. Bless you.
Thank you.
Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We had a great show. I mean, man, it's like every show. Like I said, man, I was surrounded by champions this week. Comey, all them guys. And every time, you know, I feel like I was a champion. I came here. I think I was looking like Mike Tyson today. What you think? You okay, Professor Nin?
I'm good over here. I'm Gucci.
I'm saying, I ain't looking like a lion and something.
I will say that. So
Timber.
We got a big matchup coming up next weekend.
Ooh.
Right? Don't we have the
Canelo?
Canelo Kovalev. Isn't that November the 2nd?
Damn, we already there?
Yeah, I think so. So
you want to make okay, we could talk about that. What's up?
Yeah, but we'll see.
I
don't know if I'm getting the fight though. That's on the DAZN. I might have to get my subscription back up for the DAZN. If we do, then we might do something live here.
Yeah, I mean, the undercard is good. We already dropped our prediction on Dono versus Ryan Garcia. Check that out. And Professor Nim, who you picking for Canelo Alvarez versus Kovalev?
So I'm going with the upset, which is actually I'm gonna go Kovalev. I think it's gonna be a hard. So he's prepared. He knows that Canelo is gonna target his body. I actually like this new partner. Well, not newish partnership with Buddy McGirt, and I think we're gonna be surprised. I think when you get to that age, sometimes you have one great performance left in you, and if he didn't leave it in the ring in his last fight, where he almost was stopped,
it was a punch removed from retirement.
I could see him. So I'm going with the upset, even though you claim that I'm in Canelo's pocket. I got Canelo losing this fight.
Because you in his pocket, he's trying to promote the fight. Because this shit going to be a knockout ready to happen. Like, I mean,
got a knockout.
I believe Canelo
stopping
will
Kovalev.
stop him to the body. Now, if it goes to the scorecard, like you said, Kovalev going to win, you think he's going to get down on the scorecard?
Yeah, that's November the 2nd.
You think he's going to get it on the scorecard?
I think he's going to get it. I think he's
on the scorecard.
I think he's going to. So Canelo is hard to beat on the scorecard. I'm gonna say
so basically you
split
saying a
decision.
robbery.
No, we're gonna get a split decision, and because you gotta, if he's a champion, you gotta take his belt. I got Kovalev split decision against Canelo. Set up a rematch. It's done.
Translation. He got it. Not split decision, but a robbery. Because if that's the case, Canelo finna rob his ass with them judges.
All right.
That being said, I got Canelo Alvarez winning by knockout to the body, to the head, whatever. He bulking up. I feel like that's a mistake, a big mistake, in fact, because you out here bulking up and you already got stamina issues. How you gonna carry that extra muscle? You should have been just you going to that fight, not gain too much weight. Just be you. You're already a big dude, and just use your skill and your how fast you is, your natural ability, and take Kovalev out of there. He's already on his way out. He got a foot out the door. All you gotta do is just push him out the door, kick his ass out. You know what I mean? Like, Kovalev is a punch removed from retirement. Canelo, you don't have to bulk up. I feel like that's a mistake. So that might could cost him the fight.
So that sound like it's going in my favor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying I could see it. I could see it your way too, but I could see Canelo. I mean, like I said, if it's your way, it's gonna be a robbery. I just don't see Canelo losing to no damn Kovalev, a fighter on the way out.
Body shot.
I feel like
sometimes they can summon up that one great performance, and I think that because
the judges Kovalev
right now is really fighting for just his family's future. He knows he's on his way out, so he gets this fight. He's gonna take this money fight, but if he wins and gets the rematch, he's gonna set himself up nice. And I think he's gonna dig down.
I agree, but I'm saying the only thing that you're not looking at is the fact that Kovalev is on his way out. Promoters know that. Like, ain't nobody benefiting from Kovalev winning, because Kovalev wins, he upsets the apple cart, and then what happens next? He retires after he beat Canelo. But I'm saying
that's a rematch.
I know it's a rematch,
and then send Canelo ass back down to 160.
I know, but I'm saying it makes Canelo look bad. Look at Mikey Garcia. Mikey was so hyped up, and now everybody was talking about him being the new Floyd and this shit, and moved up 2 weight divisions like Canelo Alvarez did, and got his ass whooped by Errol Spence. So Errol stated he wants Canelo Alvarez to win too, because it's a future possible opponent for him.
Yeah.
And he wanted to show, look, if Canelo could move up 2 weight divisions and beat Kovalev, Mikey, if he was a better fighter than me, he would have been able to do that. But it's not because it was the weight division. It was because I was a better fighter than him. That's why I boxed him. I didn't even beat him up like that. Yeah. That being said, check out our prediction. We already made it. We broke the fight down, so we're not gonna get into it, details and stuff. But Kovalev saw Canelo and was like, "Man, you out here, you bulking up, you looking big,
you getting big." And then they was sizing him up. So when you see them before the fight, this opportunity to see where the weight is at, see how they're looking, and go in and hug them, and like, all right, you feel strong. That's all that is.
I feel like
maneuvering.
I feel like it's BS. Nah, I feel like they got respect for each other.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
Kovalev, I give him respect as far as fighting the best, but as far as him as a person, I don't respect him outside of the ring. Like,
he's got
how he carry himself,
dickish ways about him.
Yeah, like how he
a little
slapped
bit of
a woman
racism
and this and that, all of that. Racism, slapping women, no respect for women or elders or whatever the case might be. I mean, him, Oscar De La Hoya. And not Canelo, that's my man. But Oscar De La Hoya, who's that? Oh, Conor McGregor. All these 3 people, they in the same shoe. That's why when Oscar was hating on Floyd for getting that Conor McGregor fight, and he was calling out Conor, like,
like, Oscar played himself. Like, I'll fight him next. I'm in shape. I got a 6-pack.
Canelo called out Conor too. You know who Canelo just called out? Freaking Woodley.
Really?
Why would you do that? Like, it make you look stupid, because you
better focus on Kovalev.
Yeah, like, you out here calling out Floyd Mayweather for not fighting the best, this and that, did all that talking, when he made, in that fight alone, more money than your whole contract for 11 fights on DAZN. Yeah. He made $350 million against Conor McGregor, talking about being smart. And you out here having 11 fights on DAZN for $300 million, whatever, right?
Yeah, 365.
365. He literally made all that in one fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you trying to call out Woodley. Like, come on now, man. We know what time it is. So
we might go live with it. We might have something. If we do something, I might have something at the crib.
We will go live, man. I'm gonna get Professor Nan to order that thing, man. Hey, we gonna split it in half. $10, we get it. You know what I'm saying?
Don't make me look cheap now.
Like, hey, the fight ain't worth it. If he find Charlo, I bet you I order it. I don't care if it's on pay-per-view, because that's a live opponent. But him fighting Kovalev,
you got the Joshua fight that's gonna be soon after.
I want to see how Ryan gonna look versus Dono too. Like, so that's why I'm willing to let my $10 go. Cause like, I'm like, man, Ryan, he worth for me to get to $5 out the way, because I want to see how he look against a top opponent. We saw how Shakur looked.
Yeah.
We got to see how Ryan Garcia look. I just got to see it. That being said, I mean, the only reason I pay for ESPN because of Shakur. The ESPN Plus thing, like my man Shakur, I support him all day. So I gotta do the same thing for Ryan if he lives up to the expectations. So appreciate it, Professor Nim, man.
Yes, sir.
So we stated earlier, like I said, Professor Nim, he might change his name to Student Nim because I keep taking him to the Akhi University.
No.
So that name fit him
Grim
better.
Reaper,
What y'all think?
I thought it was Grim Reaper because I'm catching these bodies.
Man, you caught your own body. You know what I'm saying? You buried your own self on your own grave, and you dig your own grave today. That being said, it's still strap season, still line season, lines only, all of that.
Duck
Canelo season over there.
Duck season.
That being said, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Check out Split Decision. Hosted and dropped every Monday. Now, this episode...
Make sure that you subscribe to the Akhi TV.
Yeah, and click on the notification bell to get notified every time we post to go live because sometimes y'all going to miss on the uploads and y'all don't want to miss my content. Now, I seen this weekend, I traveled. I went to Khalid Tuwaiti fight, a Yemeni boxer, the prodigy of Prince Nassim Hamed. Now, he ain't Prince Nassim Hamed or nothing. He the next Khalid Tuwaiti. I don't want to call him no Prince because he's his own fighter. He a switch hitter like Terrence Crawford is, like Prince Nassim was. However, he more of a boxer, and he's a really humble dude, a very good dude. He took care of me. That's my broski for life. And be on the lookout for him. I got a documentary coming out for him, too. Dope. So be on the lookout for that. I interviewed Saddam Ali, a humble dude. Grateful for the interview champ. So shout out to Saddam Ali, too. I interviewed Comey. Comey was looking big, man. I was like, man, this dude out here, I didn't even know it was Comey. That's how big, bro. He was looking like he won 60. I'm like, man, this dude huge. And he was very, very humble. I couldn't even ask him about other fights because he was such a humble person, man. Like the way he spoke, he always put God first, and that's how you should do it. You always put Allah first, and things will happen. That being said, inshallah, Khalid Tuwaiti will be the next champion from the heritage of Yemen. That's what we rock all day. You know what I'm saying? This is our set, is Yemeni blood that run through our vein. And appreciate Professor Nim's all love and support. And any last thoughts, Professor Nim?
No, just tune in. We appreciate all the comments, good and bad. Remember, we want all the smoke. We lighten up the CBD out here. Maybe we get them to be a sponsor or something.
Yeah. Hey, we want that. We want that. You know what I'm saying? With dinero in Spanish. Is that how to say it?
Dinero, yes,
dinero.
sir.
I'm pretty sure being on Canelo payroll and shit. So that being said, appreciate you, Professor Nim. Always great talking to you, man. My favorite moment of the week is when I go and take Professor Nim to my Akhi University because keep in mind, I was his student. I would go to school.
Still is.
And man, Professor Nim, he would give me a hard time. I spend 10 hours on the paper.
Cut that out, though.
Listen.
I don't want them knowing where I work at.
Hold on.
We're going to cut that part.
We're going to cut.
We're going to bleep that. We're going to bleep that.
I'm going to cut that part out. But, I'm over here. I got to spend like 10 hours to do a paper. And guess what Professor Nim will do? Take off 10 points for no reason. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to give him a hard time on this show because he's my student on this show. This is the Akhi University. So appreciate it, Professor Nim. Always great talking.
And the I go and say, I don't got time for the hate. I need more time in my day. I put the ice in my bay. Yeah, you riding on me. I get my drip overseas. Niggas a hater.